this was a fun episode. We finally get introduced to our one new character who, honestly, is a strange guy. But overall, I gotta say, this was a fun, weird, different perspective recap episode with new things, of course. So what's going on, guys? Shu here, bringing you another review for Dandadan. So, like I said, this was quite the episode. We start this episode actually with seeing our boy, our new guy, having his routine, waking up at 5 in the morning, brushing his teeth, getting breakfast, brushing his teeth again, putting on his glasses, getting ready, getting his little comb brush, getting ready to go to school, singing his favorite song, which I couldn't figure out what that was. And what's interesting is that even though this is episode 10 from season 2, we're going back to season 1, episode 5. And we're seeing the scene where Okaroon is going to school for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but after the whole incident with the aliens and whatnot, basically returning to that lifestyle, or I guess trying to return to that life. And, he's going to school and he's trying to say hi to Momo, but he's having a hard time trying to even talk to her. And while they're walking, we have our boy here also watching. So we basically relive what happened throughout that first episode. Well, that first episode of, them returning, episode 5. And then we're seeing basically a different perspective, his perspective of what happened that day. And so we see that everything's the same. Okaroon and Momo were trying to find each other, and then in the end, they end up bumping into each other, kissing, which was funny because we also saw that Momo's friends were also watching. So that's also something interesting. But we see that our guy, he's tries to talk to Okaroon because he thinks that he's his rival, and Okaroon's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, are you talking to me? And because he's never had anyone talk to him in his classroom favorably, and so he's there, and then he wants to know why he's so close and chummy to Momo, and he's just like wanting to have that same life basically. But Momo comes in and she actually tells him, hey, look, we've got some information about your golden nut, which was funny. And, for this guy, he's like, oh my God, spicy talk. What is this? Is this how you got Momo ISM? And, it's funny because we also see the class president kind of stepping in. Now, this was the class rep's kind of introduction to the story. There's more to her, which I'm interested in seeing how that's going to fold, or how much more we'll see of her in this season. But we see that Momo and Okaroon decide to go find this place. I love how they were bickering, and it's really a misunderstanding here. But Okaroon's just kind of when they're walking, they talk about how he's suddenly become cool and popular in his class, which he felt a bit overwhelmed because this is something that he's never had to go through. So he's kind of surprised that people are willing to talk to him. But our boy actually starts to follow them, and he actually wants to know what is it that they're doing. They end up finding the golden ball, but it seems to be possessed. They actually are seeing that it's floating around, and it's weird. So obviously they go into using their abilities and either trying to get it, but this thing, whatever it is very elusive. It actually presents a lot of issues to both of them. And when our other guy decides to try to, help out, he's kind of useless. He doesn't have any abilities. But in the end, they are able to then kind of try to stop it. And they figured that there's something that was inside of it, or something that was controlling it, which was something that I wasn't expecting. And then at the end, when they beat it up or knock it down, we see that it's a kaiju. So is the golden ball actually a kaiju, powering a kaiju's heart or life or whatever this is? So it's very strange. and then you think that's over, but then by the end of the episode, we see it truly growing stronger and much bigger. So now we have another issue. We're entering where this what seemed to be a harmless thing has now become an actual threat, and the golden ball's missing. So that's just lovely overall. I just don't think that I was expecting that. I was like, whoa. But so our new dude is introduced. I think that's kind of an interesting little thing here. But I also think that it's weird that he's been there the entire time, and we have to like somewhat relive this, like that first episode, well, that first season's episode. But we'll see what happens. That's it for me, though, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay safe, and I'll catch you all later.